What's up everyone, it's Neon Velocity. I'm back with another Gears 5 video. Today we're going to be talking about the featured Hive, the Onslaught, and how to complete this with the negative 55-second par score time that the Coalition has asked you to get. It's actually not that difficult. So what I want to say is just play on Master. It's very important to play on Master. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the main driver of how to beat this Hive on Master difficulty. Not only will you beat it on Master difficulty, you're going to get a crap load of cards. You'll be able to do this quite a few times, and you get ribbon progress or medal progress in your tour duty. So it's just an all-around great method to do this. So let's jump into it. If you haven't already seen one of my most recent videos where I talk about how to play the Infiltrator in Gears 5 Operation 5 PvE, I would suggest you to do so. It's going to be in the top right corner. Take a look at that. That will go into good detail, but I'm actually going to go over it again a little bit here, just not nearly as in depth without too much gameplay, except real live gameplay here in just a moment. So how do you do this? You can have 3 people or 2. 3 is always better. And I personally would suggest having the Infiltrator, as this class will be the key to making this whole thing work. And we're going to be playing what is called the STEM setup. And that's what I'm going to name it. And more or less what you're going to want to do is have a decently leveled Infiltrator. And you're going to want to make sure that you have the Blood Resonance card on, the Enhanced STEM batteries, Reaper, and Laceration card. Those 5 cards will guarantee you your success to your negative 55 seconds. But there is a caveat. Whoever is playing with you can play as any other class, maybe another Infiltrator, but make sure that they're running the score boost cards of Epic Score Boost and the regular score boost. And as long as they're decently leveled cards, you will have a good time. I have mastered this Hive now 3 times today being December 9th. And when you do this, you're going to get over your negative 55. I've gotten all the way up to about negative 75 seconds, which is well past the negative 55. Now, how does this build work for the Infiltrator, and why am I not showing the other classes? Well, the main reason is because the other classes are more just support for grabbing cog tags, whereas you, the Infiltrator, will be killing the few enemies and just kind of taking control of the map. So, how does it work with the Infiltrator? With the Infiltrator, there's 3 cards that pair together, and then there's 2 cards that pair together. So, Blood Resonance and the Laceration card work together because it allows bleeding enemies to take a lot of damage when they're already bleeding due to laceration. So when you have a shotgun or an overkill and you shoot them with the shotgun or overkill, you're going to get a bleeding damage effect as long as they're within 5 meters of you, which is fairly close. But don't worry, because as long as you get stem, you're going to be okay. So if you kill enemies with your shotgun, your enhanced stem and your stem batteries, but most importantly, your Reaper card will give you stem. And so when you get stem, you're going to get your stem battery card going up. You're going to get enhanced stem, where you're going to start getting damage resistance. So bleeding enemies, kill enemies with shotgun, get in more stem, then you get damage resistance, and then you're good. Well, now, the other reason for playing the Infiltrator is due to the fact that you can cloak. And when you cloak, that means you can kind of sneak past some enemies. So that's just the high-level overview of why I say to play the Infiltrator, and then have some support characters of your very own. So let's take a second to jump into the actual Hive itself and how we do this. All right, now that we're in the Hive, again, I'm playing the Infiltrator class, and really just understand that this is not as difficult as it may seem because we're playing on Master. So just throw on all the mutators. And what you're going to want to do as the Infiltrator class is go ahead and get on the turret and have the teammate of yours that does not have the score boost cards on get on the other turret. The one that does have the score boost cards needs to go into the room to the left of the turrets and grab the cog tags on the ground. And that's because they're going to get a lot of increased time on the score boost. Now, not only do you want to just grab cog tags, it's not the only way that you're going to win this par score time. Is you also have to mark literally almost every single enemy known to mankind. And trust me, there are a lot of enemies on this, so you're going to have plenty of chances to get a lot of score boost increase through the cog tags, and not only through the cog tags, but also through marking enemies. Now, we were talking about shotguns earlier in the video, and in this particular hive, you're gonna get poppers or shock juvies. When you get the poppers, you're gonna get a nasher, which is my preference in this hive. Or if you get the shock juvies, you're gonna end up getting DR1s that spawn, and when you get those, they're gonna end up dropping the overkill. So depending on your selection, it doesn't really matter. You can beat the hive with both, but I will say that it's probably easier, in my opinion, if you get the ones with poppers. So in this video, we have the one with poppers, and you can see that the venom hasn't even dropped yet. We still got a couple seconds before it goes live and before the venom and ash starts moving forward, and we're just killing the enemies. Now, once the teammate that went to go grab the scorecard, or sorry, not the scorecard, but the cog tags on the ground, they're going to want to move over to the right of where the turrets are and work their way down just ever so slightly, and they're just going to go down there and just make sure that they're killing any stragglers, so that way nothing moves up against you and potentially kills you. Now, once you're done killing everybody on the turrets, you're going to hear that little thump sound. Just make sure that you go pick up any ammo that you possibly can. If you're playing the infiltrator, be sure to go ahead and grab the Nasher or the overkill. Get as much ammo on those that you can. If you're playing with the Nasher, you get up to about 32 shots in that, and if you're not, then you get, if you're using the overkill, you get up to 20 shots. Now, what I like to do is just move quick. So in the next room to the left, there's another cog tag, so make sure that you go ahead and pick that up. Now, when you come up, you're going to come into another room. Just follow the path. You're going to find another turret. Get on the turret as quick as possible and start shooting all the drones. There's going to be some salvo scions as well, more poppers. Just shoot as freely as possible. This way you're just getting as many kills. Of course, make sure that you're marking them. So it's kind of redundant. We're kind of doing the same thing that we just talked about. But again, you just want to kill them as fast as possible. Mark them as much as possible to ensure that you get that negative 55 seconds on your HAR score. Something else to note is that there will be a room up to your right of this turret area. You don't necessarily have to go in there unless you want to get ammo, but you really don't need to if you have done everything according to what I've stated and kind of what you've seen in the video so far. So know that it's there, but there is not a cog tag in there for you to get. So this part's a little bit on the cruise control. The turrets make this really simple. There's not too much to say about it other than just make sure that you're not overheating your turret, otherwise you cannot shoot, and just keep unloading into them, and eventually you're going to hear another thump sound at some point, and if you don't, you won't see any more enemies spawning, so you can actually move forward. There may be a few snipers or M-bars depending on what selection of monsters or enemies you got, and you can just kill them, so keep that in mind as well. So once things start slowing down, again, just move forward, and you're going to come into another area of the hive, and you're gonna get into a stairwell that leads downstairs, which hasn't popped up just yet, but when it does pop up, it's gonna get a little hairy, so make sure that you're very, very active and not risking anything. I have seen this hive fall apart right here. It's not as easy when you have poppers, but it actually, in my opinion, is much easier, just due to the fact that the poppers will take out the enemies as well, so keep that in mind. Now, if you get the popper spawn, you can go ahead and get the frags and throw the frags and get some easy stem. And again, post up on the turret, allow your teammates to sit there and just, you know, use salvos or their weapons, whatever weapon they got, whatever they're able to pick up on the ground, and just let them go to town and ensure that they're killing enemies with you and that they're marking them, most importantly. So this part will take about a minute or two. And literally all you're doing is just killing the enemies again on the turret. So this is now the third time we're rinsing and repeating this turret action. So you're already about halfway through this hive, believe it or not. So if you're doing this and you're right here, just know that you're already halfway through and you're actually about to come up to the safe room. And once you're at the safe room, you're 50% there. Now, with this being on master difficulty though, there are no respawns, so if you die, you're out. There is no restarting. You go all the way back to the main menu. But of course, if you're playing on master, it's just all worth it. You get the master of the hive, you get more experience, you get potentially better cards, and you get a higher score time, and that's what we want to do here. So again, we're still going through this. It's been about 2 minutes, or about a minute already, it feels like, and you're getting close to the end of this hive now. I mean, we're really almost there. Once you kill all the enemies that are floating up or running up the stairs, I shouldn't say floating, but running up the stairs, is as the infiltrator class, there will be a bunch of not locusts, but swarm drones or snipers and M-bars. Just run up to them and kill them. Make sure that you kill them with your Nasher. That way you can ensure that you keep your stem on. One of your teammates can pick up the salvo. I've noticed that you don't necessarily have to worry about it. You can actually beat it without really anybody helping you, other than on that part where you're on the turret at the very first part of this. It will be very difficult, but it can be done. So for the safety of this video, do try to play with 3 people. So we're going to get back into this here in just a few moments. We got the safe room coming up. This is something that the coalition needs to fix. It takes way too long to get into the second part of the hive, the second act. If there is a safe room, the load time is just like super long. So we'll take a few moments to relax here, take a breath, and get ready for the end, because this next part does require a lot of focus and attention, and it can go south if you're not careful, because we're going to run into some claws enemies, and those claws will light you up. But as the infiltrator with the stem build, you should be okay. All right, now that finally the safe room has opened, you're going to want to run out and go to the right, and then you're going to come into a room area on the left, and there's going to be a door with a set lock on it. Whoever has the best of the score boost cards needs to go in there and ensure that they pick up that score boost card, as that will be the one that really takes you over the hill to ensure that you get your negative 55 seconds on the time score card, or the score system. While that's happening, though, for the infiltrator, you're going to want to kill all the elite drones that we just ran by, but ensure that you kill them. There's 3 of them. Once you kill them, though, there will be a bunch of scions and bastions that show up, so don't do that. Now, once you run into this other room, you saw that I took the right side, and when I did that, that was just due to the fact that I knew that there was going to be a bunch of elite drones here that would have claws, and that was my way trying to stay away from them and kill them. Once you kill them, make sure that you're bleeding them out, and make sure that you use that Nasher. Just get really up close, and you're going to kill them, and you're not going to have a problem. So now there's a couple more elite drones after that, and now we're already at the extraction zone, so we're at the very end. If you play this hive and you actually are trying to kill them, I can assure you that there are so many enemies that spawn that you may never even see the end. And there's like salvo scions, there's more bastions, there's more poppers, there's tons of enemies that spawn. It almost feels like non-stop, and that's why they call this hive the Onslaught. But once you get to the extraction zone, there's really not too many enemies that will show up. Get to the extraction zone, just kill the last few enemies, or maybe none will show up at all. You can do whatever you want out here, just make sure that you don't die. Once you get on the Raven, you've completed it, and you've now gotten at least 18 plus skill cards, and you can run it a few more times on Master just for fun as well. And that is how you beat the Onslaught on Master difficulty. This is still a relevant method. It's what I have done. I would suggest you to do it. If you're new here, make sure that you click the like and subscribe and the bell notifications for when future videos go live, and I'll see you in the next video.